this is a response to Nicole Diesel's comment. Thank you for that. I quite enjoyed the video. I like the way the man thinks, to a certain degree. One thing he brings up at the beginning is that everything is formed by the word, and he characterizes, or he puts that all as the actual alphabet, whereas I believe that the logos was the will or intention, and he put that into force, and the alphabet or the alphabet that he gave Mosha to write is almost like a level down from his spiritual thinking, because it's in a, it's a two-dimensional type thing anyway. But yeah, there was so much in that video, and I'm still not quite through it, but I had to stop because I was having too many thoughts. I wouldn't have written anything in a comment, and then there's the getting it deleted, because there was just so much going on with what he was saying, and things that I was agreeing with and going, wow, this guy's really thinking along the lines, and other things, like in particular the thing you wanted me to watch, Nicole, was the serpent. He didn't really go into that, only that he didn't believe it was. He said it could be a shiny serpent image, but I think that the word is quite clear. I looked up the Strongs for it, for the section of scripture before I watched the video, and okay, so where it says fiery, and it's interesting in light of the squirts too, and all the other stuff to do with the imagery, signage, that comes from the occultists, along with this package. But so in the word, it says that he, silly me, didn't grab the Bible just as I was starting this video, but basically it says a fiery serpent made of brass was lifted up, and those that looked on it were saved, and not the snake bites didn't hurt them, right? The serpent bites. So I guess the question is, was it really a serpent? Is Yahushua likened to a serpent, a brass serpent? Why brass? Brass all through the temple. Everything gives you a lesson. I think that brass is used to symbolize human flesh because it's an inferior metal of impurity. It can be quite strong. Like the guy says in the video, the Hebrew alphabet is much more, it flourishes, it gives much more description than the English one. The English one is a spell trap. But, oh gosh, like I said, there's so much to think about, and my head was pumping with thoughts because I think along the same lines as that fellow, and it's great. Like when he was talking about Satan, that some of the letters in that are also in Mashiach, right? Well, I wish he went on further than to say, this is the same snake that was lifted up, okay? The nakash, or the hiss, or the magic, the lie to deceive, and not only that, the snake's nature is to think of itself. Our own human natures are to think of ourselves only, and to strike out. And this is something we have to control, which Yahushua did to the ultimate. Now, the Strong's Concordance, let's just deal with the word fiery first, okay? So it's the word sarof, or burning. It comes from poison, right? It also has copper color as a meaning. So as the fellow in the video, Eriktology, was saying, there's multiple flavors to a word. And so you can see that for example, with Yahushua, you can't say he on earth was Yahuah, or all perfect righteous, because he partook of flesh. He was that copper, he was that brass, that mixed, impure, but strong and used for strength as well. That part of the temple referred to him. Yet there was also the gold and the silver, and they all had those lessons. But the gold is gotten rid of all of its impurities. You see, Yahuwah was declaring his will to work with human flesh to create God-men. This is the whole purpose of his will going forth, was to show, in the end, by a man, what a man should live like to become Yahuwah. But this man had to be inflicted with the same that we all are inflicted with, yet he had the will of Yahuah speaking to him in a way no other prophet has. And don't forget, he was a prophet. Anyway, getting a little sidetracked. So the word saraf, or burning poison, is the word fiery for fiery serpent. So this snake gives some sort of a burning sensation, and it says to make complete, like an utter burning. And it comes from the primary saraf, right, which is to kindle or make burn utterly. So I keep thinking of the squirts, but the real primary purpose of this is to talk about sin, right? Sin in the blood, in the nature of us. Our nature is driven towards selfishness, to eat, to all the things, materialistic especially. Yet to rise above that and discipline the materialistic is where we have to go spiritually. And they're the elements of gold and all that. That's why they're incorporated to speak of Mashiach as well, not just the bronze. So, yes, Mashiach can be referred to as a snake on a cross in the sense that we're all dual, right? We're all dualities. We are striving to become, hopefully, an enlightened one that overcomes an evil with good, and yet there's a part of us that drives us to do evil, to do sin. And that is the serpent. And this is what he put on the cross to say, salvation will come in the future through the same lifting up of one who would overcome the false accuser devil. And this is where I agree with that bloke as well. You've got to go back to the original words, diabolos, to pierce through, you know, like as Yahushua was pierced through on the cross by the Roman symbolic empires of the kingdoms of men, which are really at the end just a serpent, a beast, a lie that you inherit immortality no matter what you do. So anyway, getting a little sidetracked, fiery, we've dealt with that. So that means burning poison, and it comes from the primary root to kindle or make burn. Nakash is the serpent, which is to hiss, comes from a primary word which gives indication to Egypt, I believe. And this is also how Yahuah called Yahushua out of Egypt, because the body is Egypt. The body, they worshipped the flesh, they worshipped the snake. Okay? They had it twisted because they believed there was another God besides, or a mighty one or self-existent one besides Yahuah. Anyway, the serpent Nachash to hiss, so it's indicating a snake, right? The brass is Nakosheth, which means copper or filthiness, but it can also mean strength. And but you can see it's a mixed thing. It's not a purity. And brass also is used metaphorically in the scripture, by the way, to describe a dry sky, like a burning type dry sky with no rain in it, and also to describe an arid land. And it's interesting that Yahushua grew up as a root out of dry ground. So what I disagree with is that he says it could be some other symbol, other thing, like a rag almost lifted up. No, I don't think so, because everything was very specific and detailed. I do really like his approach to get that full flavor from the Hebrew language, but I wouldn't put it all in the alphabet. I believe that the Logos in John 1 talked about was the will or intention of Yahuah, which is also included in his name. It's not just I am, it's also I will be, or he's talking about a constant progression, not just a stagnation, but a growing of family. And this is the way he does it, to teach us through Mashiach to overcome our flesh and to mortify that and put that snake on the cross and overcome the power of this world, which is just a lie. It's just the power of the air, thin air, nothing. There is no other El besides the one Almighty. Okay, I'll just leave it at that for now. I think that's about all. I I disagree that he sound. I won't go into whether he believes in the Trinity or not. It's the first time I've watched it, but it sounds like he was trying to say that the I don't know. I won't go into that part. I'll leave it at that. I really enjoyed his thinking. I'll watch more. Thank you, Nicole, for that link. It took a while to get into it. I'm glad he finally did, because I did appreciate his thinking. And at first I found it a little hard with his constant changing between Yahweh and Yahuah, Yahushua, Yahusha, and Yeshua, which all have different meanings. Anyway, for example, Yaakov. Maybe he's just doing it like to encompass all the people. Like sometimes I'll say, Yahushua, Yeshua, Jesus, so people know what I'm talking about, because some people only know Jesus. But at the same time, Yahushua and Yeshua are similar, same link. It's like Yeshua's salvation comes from Yahushua, which has 3 different meanings. And Yahusha is actually not the correct. And I don't understand why he says Shah and Shua, which are different. I mean, Shah was always on bad things or evil people's names. Bashar al-Assad, no, that's Bashar, yeah. But he's not Hebrew, obviously, he's Syrian. But there's a lot of Hebrew words. If you want to go into Mikhail Shabbat scriptural studies and look at it there, you'll find I agree with a lot of what he says, a real lot of regarding the words and the name. And I find it a little bit disillusioning that the fellow that I just watched the video will sort of shift between them. It either is one or the other, and it either means everything to you or not. I struggle when I say God. I feel like I've just said some swear word, and I don't mean to say anyone who uses that is doing that. For me though, after knowing the name and what it means, why would I want to go to something that's deliberately been manufactured to take emphasis away from Yahuah about what his name means, what his son name means, and put it on some pagan deity? Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Nicole. I'll look forward to more of his videos, and I hope I expressed a little bit of what you wanted to hear in a reaction to that video. Thanks.